to the home.
Okay, thank you. And I teach a lot, and the same thing happened today. I'm surprised. Everybody sits in the back of the room and the first row is empty. So it doesn't matter the age or the experience, we're still scary. Touch. Traditionally, designers have primarily focused on the visual aspect. And the visual sense is just one out of what we call 6, because for us intuition is also an aspect that we teach and we deal with. Touch is the largest organ that we have, and more it becomes a much more relevant. We see it from consumer electronics, we see it from carpet, we see it from any type of products that when you buy the car, the first thing that you want to touch is how soft is that upholstery. So the development of new materials and the development of new technologies in making touch a sensitive part of the design is a challenge that is being taught to the next generation of designers. But it's not only touch, it's also sound. I was kind of joking at the beginning. I was talking with one of the show persons and how important is the sound of hardwood floor that sounds solid. But how it changed behavior when you switch from the linoleum side, and you can see certain lady that I'm not going to point. They came with the high heels, and she changed her behavior. She froze for a second, and started walking in a less comfortable thing. So sound is another very important. And the smell. When you install new carpet, install new flooring, you have the smell of a new home, a fresh home, to start my life there. So the next generation of designers are not only very aware of designing for the visual aspect, which is the first interaction that we all have, but also for the other 5 senses and the intuition. The other important aspect of this next generation of designers is how they connect to each other. One sense by itself means something to the other sense. So we were talking about the sound and that change behavior, but we also expect when you eat a crunchy, crispy fry that it should sound crack. If it doesn't sound crack, there is something wrong. So same happens with the flooring and the carpet. If you go into a room and you're seeing carpet, but the acoustics are not appropriate and the sound are not appropriate, there's something interesting wrong in the room, and we tend to reject it. Nobody can point out what is wrong, but it's when those senses don't connect. So it's not only learn to design for them, but learn how they connect and relate to each other.
In your opinion, what constitutes good design?
Okay.
And maybe I can ask you too, as you think about that, and how do you think younger designers define this concept of good design?
Okay. And I'm going to go a little bit with my lecturing background here, a little historical context. Up to about 5 years ago, 3 years ago, good design was defined as something that is innovative, humans can use it, is mass producible, it solves a real problem, and generates revenue or profits for the company. If you produce anything that meets that 5 criteria, we were successful. Now, today is a very different story. Today, we know that customers have changed, and they're very good in disconnecting themselves from the channels of information that we introduce the products. TV, advertisement, magazine advertisement, even on the internet, you have all these ads popping up, we ignore them. So, they have changed the way that they interact and inform themselves. The new challenge to be a good design is about the ability for a product or a system to create a memorable, valuable, positive experience. And that's where the next generation of designers are focusing their energies on. The most important aspect is this memorable experience. The only way that they're going to find out how great your product is when I go and talk to her and tell her, you won't believe how soft my carpet is. Or the one who cleaned the blood in the rug, my dog died on the carpet and I was able to clean it and my kids never found out. When they came back from the school, it was perfect. That type of stories have millions of dollars of value in advertisement and cost you nothing. So the challenge is, how can you design a product, a service, or a system in which you incorporate those moments and you really understand the customer, where their priorities are, that they become what we call a hero. The person that has so much of a positive, valuable experience that tells others of their story. The other aspect of the story is this valuable and positive. We all can tell in a second a negative experience. It's very easy. The challenge is turning it into a positive. And in order to do that, we have resorted to a science called anthropology. And more of the designers are becoming fluent in the language of anthropology. Anthropology researches humans. And same techniques that they're using to study the Indians in the middle of the Amazon is present in your grocery store, studying us, how do we buy and how do we do things, and using ethnographical research and analyzing data in a very similar way in order to find those moments that are critical for people to be not supplying what is essential. We expect the glass to contain the water pretty well, but what will make it special? What will make that expectation unique? So I will tell her, you know, I dropped this glass on the floor and it sounds like crystal and it didn't break. And then let me show you, and you hit it on the table and it doesn't break. There you have a memorable story to tell. So how we react in the carpet industry to create, or the flooring industry, this memorable experience, these unexpected things that we all desire to have, and identifying them is what the next generation of designers are prepared to.
Before I ask you